Good morning, everyone. So let's discuss in detail what is Streamlit session state, and we have discussed about it little bit in the previous videos, and we have seen that there is one problem with the Streamlit application, and that problem is with regard to its rerun. So whenever a user is doing anything in the application, he is clicking a button or he is submitting something, he is moving that you know selector bar. What happens is your code from top to bottom reruns. Okay, so this is a problem because let's say as we discussed, if you are calling some API, right, then what will happen is if the user is doing something, this API will be called again and again. So that may incur some cost, and that may use my resources unnecessary, and most importantly that will take some time, right? So that will hamper the performance of my application. So what I can do is, in order to get rid of that, I can make use of the session state. So in this code you can see that we have this function, and this function is actually calling some API. And now after this call, uh, this is where actually I am calling this function. So I have, if I need to define one session state key. Okay, let me tell you one more thing. This session state is a feature that let you save variables that persist throughout a user's interaction with the app, even when the app reruns. It behaves like a Python dictionary. So that's the most important thing. The session state is nothing but it's a dictionary which may have multiple keys and multiple values. So whatever value I want to save, what I need to do is I need to define a key, and then I have to save its value, and then that has to be put in my session state dictionary. Okay, so this is exactly what we are doing here. So if API underscore data, this is the key. If that is not there in the st.session state, what I am doing is I am calling this particular function and API, and whatever the value which is being returned, it will be saved as a value for this key. So st.session_state.api underscore data, for this key, this value will be saved. So now what will happen if after this particular thing, if a user is doing, if he is interacting with the application, he is submitting something, some form, or he is writing in the text box, he is clicking some button, this will rerun. But this time, since we have saved our value in the session state, what will happen, it will first check if API data not in a session state, which will not be the case because we have already saved this value. So this will be a false, and this will not execute, or it will not invoke this function again. Okay, so that's the main purpose. Now I have told you how we can create this key and how we can put the value. But when we are saving, or when we are if st.session_state.api data, now in this particular statement I'm checking the value of it. If it has some value, then what I can do, I can st.write store data from the API. I am printing that particular value, right? So this is the way how we can save the value, and this is the way we can get the value of that particular key. Just like that, I mean, this is one of the way that session state.api underscore data, which is like object type of approach where we are putting dot api underscore data. Second one is like if session underscore state, maybe I can put square brackets, and we can, in the quotes, I can put the name of the key for which I am looking for the value. Okay, I hope this is clear. Have a look on the code which we used a couple of videos back. So this is a code where we are defining this session state, and we are checking whether messages key is there in the session state or not. If it is not there, then we are initializing it with the empty list, and then we are displaying. And if it has messages, then we are displaying those messages. And then here we are taking the user input, and we are checking if there is any user input, then we are going to display it on the screen, and at the same time we are saving it in the session state. Now let's say if we are not using this session state, okay, or maybe let me first show you how it is working right now. So if I run this one, this is my UI, I say hello, then it has displayed the user message and the AI message. Now, if I say hello, what will happen? It retain basically my earlier messages because I'm saving and storing these messages in my session state. Fair enough. But then I just want to show you how this why this approach is working. But the approach which we used earlier in the Google Colab file, we were using some empty list, right? And we were keep on appending our messages in that list. So what will happen if we switch back to that approach? This is what I'm trying to explain. Let me remove all the session related text, session state, or let me just control F, control H, replace by nothing, replace all. Okay. So now I'm not using the session state, and let's see how it behaves on the screen. If I do a refresh, now if user is sending a message hi, it will display the response from the AI. But if I give the second message, my old message has got erased because every time a user is doing any action on the screen, this page is getting executed again. I will again make my messages list as empty list, and all my previous message will go away. So that's the reason why I have to use the session state. Okay, I hope this is very clear now. And if you have any questions on this, because this is very important concept, so you should understand this very clearly. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comments. Thank you so much, guys.